Hello and welcome to the show. Another Porsche is going to take on our snowy hill climb today, the Panamera Turbo. Chance of this car doing well is going to be a little bit more difficult. This has got a very, very high starting PI. Now, that doesn't always mean that a car is completely useless. The Jaguar F-Type, for example, was very fast despite very little in the way of PI to work with. So there is potential for the big Porsche. I quite like the new Panamera. I never hated the original Panamera. I never quite saw it as ugly as everybody else seemed to think it was, and the new one is actually quite a nice car. So I'm interested to see how it will manage. It does have one of the most spectacular rear wings in existence. It kind of like folds itself. If we should go over here, can we have a look at the back of the car? It kind of sort of folds itself out from the centre point. It's a peculiar thing. However, we're not going to be using it because I want the extra downforce that the Forza wing will bring, and likewise we're going to want downforce at the front. Now, the car starts off as all-wheel drive, so we don't need to worry about that. We can't swap the engine in it even if we wanted to. I don't know how much power the standard engine in this is going to get. I suspect we're not going to have a problem getting the PI because by the time we have put some snow tyres on it, we're going to be halfway through S1 class. The good news, at least we have quite a lot of power to begin with. 550 horsepower, 560 torque. Tyre widths, 275 to begin with. You've got 305s at the front. They are big tyres at the front of this car. And, 345s at the back, even nicer. Okay, good news. Good news in terms of grip. These are big, big tyres on this vehicle. The bad news, the downside is weight. This is not a light car. This is not a light car at all, and I suspect I'm going to want full reduction if we can do it, but that might end up taking up all of the remainder of our PI. I fear that probably will. In fact, it will do exactly. Yeah, here is the choice. That's a big difference in weight as well. You see, we can go, okay, so we can have it 3,600 pounds with 550 horsepower. If we don't go weight reduction, let's just go have a look, see how much power we can get in this vehicle. Now, of course, we can save little bits of weight. Maybe not a huge amount. Let's have a 92 horsepower. I mean, we can probably get, I don't think it's actually going to be, the turbos are pretty pants as well on here. I mean, we can probably get 650, 700, but the problem is it's going to be that much at a huge amount of weight. I mean, the Mercedes, the last time I sort of just went pure power was on the Mercedes, the big Mercedes, the 300 SEL, and that didn't really quite work out. There wasn't really a great choices on the Mercedes, and I fear this Panamera is going to come under a similar situation. I can either go brute force it, or we can try and go lighter weight. I think we're going to have to go lighter weight on this car because we don't like the Mercedes was £4,000 and that had over 1,000 horsepower. This isn't going to do that, even with it being, admittedly, it has got bigger tyres, perhaps better chassis and so on. It's got to go for the weight reduction on here because I don't have the power to try and make up for it if I go down a different route. We'll give it a try. Now, power to weight ratio isn't great on this car. I'll have a little sneaky look if any of these will work. Yeah, power to weight ratio is not great here, considering we've had cars £1,000 less than this with almost twice the power. That's problematic. However, there was a similar story with the Jaguar F-Type. There have been similar stories with other cars as well. And now, if this thing has enough cornering grip, we might be able to make up some of that time. I think it's going to struggle to do it. I really think this might struggle to do it. However, if it is a very, very nice handling car, then we might be able to make the most of all of the power, all of the traction. I'm looking for anything that can give me some power here. But even the intercoolers are adding PI. Even the all-in cooling is adding PI. Right, that's going to have to do. Fingers crossed we can carry some mega quarter speed. Otherwise, we're going to struggle, I think. So it is off to the Devil's Corners hill climb with our Porsche. I'm going to get 3 runs up this course in an attempt to go as fast as possible. The current leader, the BMW 507, a 155.9, is a mighty quick time that I'm fairly confident the Porsche isn't going to be getting near. The interesting rivalry for the Panamera, perhaps the Jaguar F-Type, a 58.0. Similar sort of car, similar sort of power to weight ratio, similar sort of struggles in terms of building it. The F-Type was not too bad at all to set that kind of a speed. So yeah, I'm thinking the F-Type is going to be its main rival here. I am hoping that we are going to have good traction in the Porsche. We are not Oh god. We are not massively quick up towards turn 1. In fact, that might be the slowest I think we've ever got to that first corner. It's just the huge bulk of the car is giving it trouble, and I think we might struggle with this sort of thing. There's a lot of car to try and fling up this course at, yeah, not a lot of power to go with it. That's more oversteer than I would have been liking from the Panamera as well. That F-Type might be a bit ambitious. That F-Type might be a bit ambitious indeed. If we can get under 2 minutes, I might revise this. We'll see. I might change my mind later on again. But it's nice having a car that you can really throw into these corners. But we're just so slow getting out the other side. It really is going to be a case of every little bit of momentum that can be preserved is going to be so critical here, because we just can't get accelerated out the other side. Come on, Porsche. Now, we've seen 111 miles an hour is about the fastest we've ever been across this jump. We're at 93. Good God. The giddy heights are 93 miles an hour in the Panamera, and I am throwing it through these corners as much as I possibly dare. It's not really working, though. It is not really working whatsoever. Around the hairpin we go, and then up the other side. It's a nice driving car. It is actually a very nice handling car, but it's, well, it helps when you're going 10 miles an hour slower and have bigger tyres than just about everything else. That does tend to make life a little bit easier on the, on the course. Okay, going off the icy straight, how much speed can we take? Not as much as I would have liked, actually. Admittedly, I might have got the turn in. I'm not sure if I clipped the ice on the turn. We didn't get turned in very well there, which I think was probably more my fault than the car's fault as we come around these final corners. The Panamera is struggling here. It is really struggling indeed. It's a 2-minute one. Admittedly, not the greatest of runs from me there. A little bit scruffy in a couple of kind of important places, but yeah, that's not an amazingly fast car. Right, as we head on to our second run, the big question really is, where are we going to find the time? We need some 5 seconds to get into the top, and that simply isn't going to happen with this car. Sub 2 minutes might be doable if we don't prat around too much. It's all going to be about smoothness with this vehicle. We need to wait. I'm actually surprised to see this oversteering as much as it is. We haven't seen, I mean, of course, you know, on snow, even these high-powered all-wheel drive cars are going to have a little bit of oversteer, but this is one of the lesser powerful cars with a fair amount of weight to it, so I'm surprised the rear end is quite as lively as it is, but well, there we go, something to deal with a little bit. It's lovely being able to just flat out throw the car in there. The issue is it was going so slowly on the way into that corner that it's easy flat out. Okay, that's not, we want third gear really on the exit there. I learnt something on this run. Fourth is going to be kind of useless because we're about to jump on the brakes again. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice enough handling. The problem is we're just not simply going fast enough at any point around this course. 94 miles an hour across the jump. So yeah, it's always going to feel like it's got that bit more grip. We can actually throw it into the hairpin almost flat out through them. We're so far down on some of the faster cars. There's just no go out of any of these slower corners. And if this is the sort of the oversteer issues we're having with the car at this level of power, I'm not sure I want to know what it'd be like with more power, as the probably get quite leery. Right, now we're not turned in quite right down there. That's cost us a little bit as well. Yeah, it's not been an amazing second run. Now let's see if we can do this corner here better. Now we have had about 99. I think the XJ220 got an amazing run through there on its final run. It's like 99 miles an hour. Around the 100 mile an hour mark off the icy straight is kind of where you want to be aiming for with cars. And it was better this time around in the Porsche. We've got just about the drive towards the line. We are going to go sub 2 minutes, but only just a 59.8. In fact, we've got an identical time to a Volvo V60. It's, yeah, it's okay. I don't know, I can find probably a little bit more time. I'm not sure we can get that much more, though. So, we are on to our third and final run with the Porsche. The Jaguar, a little bit too much of a tough benchmark to be comparing this one to. We are some 2 seconds down, and I think it very unlikely for us. No doubt we can find some time here, but I don't think we can find, I'm actually fairly sure we can't find 2 seconds. Admittedly, I have said that before, and cars have gone magically fast, but this, it's not it's nowhere near quick enough. It's decent enough through the corners, but we just can't carry the speed. We can't carry the speed on the way in to find out if it would be quick enough to handle higher speeds, because it's just so slow getting out of the corners. It is always one of the risks when you build these cars that have the highest starting PI. Things like the Panamera are always likely to struggle. The F-Type is one of those exceptions to the rule in many ways. I mean, the XJ220 is another car that struggled with a similar horsepower. In fact, the XJ220 and the F-Type have all had around similar power and similar weight going up this course. The F-Type works. I don't quite know how, but the F-Type did work, and this doesn't. Neither did the XJ. They're just, we haven't got the acceleration out of these corners. We're simply not getting enough speed on the way into the corners, let alone through it. Yeah, the traction's decent in this car. The oversteer, I found a little bit of a sort of slightly different driving style. I mean, slightly less aggressive in different places around these corners, and we can stop the back of the car from stepping out too much, and that works. It works for me. You know, we can get some decent speed. I say we can get some decent speed. We can make good lap time, or as good a stage time as I can in this car. We were much better at that sort of jump turning point this time around. We might be able to get a half decent run here. Come on, Panamera. Even there, that's not massively quick there, and it's really struggling through the corner. There is just too much bulk in the Porsche, sadly, to get it through this course. We'd need a lot more power or a lot less weight in the car. It's going to be into the 58s. Yeah, we found some time. I thought we might find some time. It was almost a second in the end there. 58.9. It is, just not good enough. We can't get enough power. The PI is just that bit too high for the Porsche. We can't get enough power in it. We certainly can't take enough weight out, but we can't get enough power in it to compensate. The 58.9 will put the car into a 24th place. It is going to go faster than the Lancia Delta S4 that's at the benchmark, the Vantage V600, the Nissan 370Z Auto build, the Transit it beats. However, it is a bit down on the Escort Mark 1, the Tamo Race Mode. Interestingly, it loses out to the Mercedes 300 SEL. That was, again, another very, very heavyweight car in which we went for just sheer power in it, and the Mercedes would be 0.3 of a second faster. The sheer power approach, though, as I said, can't work with the Porsche because we can't get anywhere near enough power within the PI. Yeah, some of these modern cars can get in a bit of trouble. I say a bit of trouble just the way the PI scales and so on. The Panamera, we cannot get anywhere near enough power. Give it 200 or 300 more horsepower, then we would probably be looking at a pretty damn fast car, as it is way too sluggish, way too heavy, can't get up the hills anywhere near fast enough. Although I do fear if it was any quicker, we might actually start having some handling issues, because it's not quite amazing handling as it is, and it's not going that quickly. So yeah, the Panamera Turbo, not particularly the hill climb car of choice. I mean, interestingly, it's still only sort of 3 seconds down on the very fastest car to go up the course. So still, this series proving to be remarkably close. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.